Hey, Pat, it's Warren. And Suki.
Hi, Warren.
Hi, Suki.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Hey, Nia, how are you?
Fine.
Hi,
Welcome
Mia.
back, everyone. Hey, Suki.
Hi, Alicia.
I think Pat is having an issue connecting to audio.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
It looks like the open meetings law is back in effect, guys, because the governor did not reinstate the emergency provision. So we're going to be seeing each other real soon.
Yeah, I believe that the emergency order is now in effect for polio, and I forgot what the dates are. They're supposed to be sending an official update.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Pat.
Good evening, Ms. Moses. Welcome back.
Yeah, how's everybody?
Fine. It's nice to see you, Pat.
Well, it's nice to see you. You've been amongst the missing. I got a little nervous there.
Well, you know, I had to take care of some personal business.
I hear you.
Your family comes first.
You got it. So we'll wait for, a few more minutes. So everybody had a nice vacation.
Okay. I haven't seen Jay Sorrid in years. I don't know.
I thought I heard, did y'all say we were going back live? What are we gonna still be on?
Well, according to the people in the state, yeah, the open meetings law is back in effect because that particular provision that allowed the suspension of the open meetings law has not been reinstated. Google or Hogo, whatever her name is, I never could get her name right. Didn't reinstate that particular emergency provision.
So I guess we just have to wait and see what comes in.
Yeah. But I would hope that our district manager will be on top of that so that we are not in violation of the law.
Well, I guess it depends upon how they're going to do it. Some people probably will still want to stay online and some people want to be in person. So I don't know how that's going to all work out, but I guess they'll work it out.
I mean, I just know what I've been told. And what I've been told is that you have to go back in person and that you cannot do, if you want, I don't think you can do virtual unless there's some dire circumstances that has to be accepted and whatever. But somebody should obviously reach out to the government open meetings and talk to their attorney there and find out exactly what's up, because they're very knowledgeable and very friendly and they have no problem with disseminating information and they get right back to you.
How you doing, Suki and Warren?
I'm good.
All is good, Pat. Thank you.
You're
How
welcome.
are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Oh, Nicola, how are you?
Who you said?
Nicola Cox just came in.
Oh,
Hi,
Nicola.
I'm good, thank you. I'm having problems with my video, so I can't turn it on, but I'm here.
And
Ma'am?
it's,
Nicola, hi
My
Jay.
camera's
Nicola.
acting up.
it's Nicola.
Oh, who said that?
After 8 years.
Oh, this is silence. The
Very quickly,
policewoman
Mrs.
has his
Moses.
silence.
Huh?
Very quickly, Ms. Moses, Mr. Thomas had called into the office earlier to
Okay,
advise that he was having an issue with his laptop and he may not be able to access the meeting.
okay.
And Mr. Craver sent a note to the office after 5 o'clock. His son is ill, so they'll be heading to the doctor to deal with that. I'm assuming the emergency room, and he will not be in attendance.
Okay, so we just waiting for how many people here? 1, 2. Rashida, did you hear from
Site.
her? Site?
No, she did not reach out to the office.
Okay. And was it Esteban?
Yeah, Esteban should be in here.
Okay, so. Okay, I'll give it 2 more minutes and then we'll just start. Okay. Ah. I see it came on. So now. Okay. I'm going to start the meeting in about 7, 8. About another minute. Okay, it's a minute. I'm gonna it's a minute. I'm gonna take the agenda a little bit out of order so that well, I'm gonna welcome everybody, but at the end of the day, what I'm going to do is just appoint the vice chair and the recording secretary. And the recording secretary, Suki, you accept?
Yes, Pat, I do. Thank you.
Okay. Warren, do you accept as the vice chair?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so now we can get started. Okay, so the rules of order are still in place. We would like everybody to raise their hands, you know, if they want to speak. And we just ask everybody to respect one another when the other person is speaking. And we don't have to agree, but you know, everybody should have a voice on how they feel or not, or don't feel. And I just want to welcome all committee members and guests. And right quick, before we go into old business. Oh, something jumped up on my computer. What happened here? Okay, no, you know what? Let me go into old business first because I want to just get that out of the way. Has there been any update on the resubmission of Fennimore Street Block Association with their downsizing?
Actually, that whole situation is in limbo at this point. The last that we've heard about it, they were trying to explore their options and to see if they could possibly get some assistance from Landmarks. But I believe that Landmarks advised them that there was not enough uniformity on that block for them to even qualify. So they're just at a standstill, honestly, because that was the last information we received over summer. They were going to get some advisement from LPC. And they do not meet the requirements in terms of uniformity of the housing character, the house character.
Okay, and you know what? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it off of old business until we get some update on what's going on.
Suki has her hand up, Ms. Moses.
I'm sorry.
So Mia, landmarks is a separate process.
Yes, most,
We
yeah,
have our- We are a partner on the rezoning application.
most definitely.
Has
And that's
anybody
my
asked,
focus.
has anybody asked for a status update on the rezoning?
Yeah, the last time that we spoke to representation from that block, that was their next step because they were at a standstill with DCP. That's my understanding. And that's why they were seeking an opinion from LPC to figure
So
out.
should we ask DCP for a status update?
I think it's beholden to the initial and primary applicant to be following up with DCP. We're not an official co-applicant to do that.
But we are an official co-applicant. In fact, we are actually the primary applicant. The purpose being that they wouldn't have to pay the fees.
My last understanding is that that last application would have to be redone from the very beginning. That was previously approved by the board of 2017, 2018, I believe. That is not the same application that will move forward. That's why they had to hire someone new.
Yeah, I remember that.
So what you're saying is that the pre-application that was most recently submitted to city planning does not have CB9's name on it.
That is correct. And as you know, the ULURP committee did not vote, or the general board. There was not a vote on any application for Fennimore.
Okay.
Okay, because that's not what Fred told us the last time.
So what is your understanding?
I mean, my understanding is that we are still co-applicants. I mean, the thing is, like, we had asked to form a subcommittee last year, right?
Mhm.
So that we could understand what was going on. And I think that's basically all we're asking for, is that this committee or whatever subcommittee or whoever is appointed, ask the Department of City Planning formally for a status update as to the application, what has been submitted to them, and what is the status of it.
It is my understanding at this point, and I definitely will follow with Dante and Fred, that there has been no new submission and definitely nothing submitted with CB9 on it as of recently. And that is in I want to say last.
Okay, because the last letter that we got from the Block Association that was an internal distribution said that they had reopened the application, but there was and they said that they would update us when there was anything to say. And it's been a year and nothing has been said. And people in the community are asking what is going on. They're saying it's an embarrassment that nothing has been done. And every month we bring this up and there's no update. Is it, are we going, it was assigned to, I guess, either the Block Association and or the district manager to keep us updated. So is the district manager going to write to city planning to ask what is the status of this application?
Whoa. Suki, we're gonna table this. Let me just
No,
tell you.
very quickly, because we can definitely do the follow-up.
Right. But we went through all of this before. So what I'm saying, and I from what I remember, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, we were basically waiting for them to submit the proper papers. That's what we went over that for about 20 minutes. I'm not going to do it tonight. So if you want some information, you can definitely get it from the board. Warren, you was going to say something? Warren?
Yes.
You were going to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Suki, who's embarrassed? Have you gotten input from this from people?
I mean, a lot of people in the community, yes, people in the community actually do care about this.
Look, so let me ask you a question. How
People
come
have
they
donated
haven't-
money to this.
Excuse me.
And they want to know.
Excuse me, Suki. How come they haven't contacted the office or the chair of the committee? Why is that going to you?
Because I'm one of the community board members on the land use committee.
Okay. And,
Is that a
and
problem,
have you
Warren?
Not at all. Have you informed the office of this concern prior to the meeting?
Well, it has been raised every single month and nothing has happened. And now is the time, I think. Now
I'm
is the time
gonna,
to
I'm gonna move
follow
on.
up on this.
Yeah, the
But I,
reason-
you know,
Okay, the
I
reason I'm
think
gonna move
Suki-
on, excuse me,
if you don't mind.
Excuse me, you all. Suki, all you
Warren,
have to
can I
do
just
is
have one
inform,
moment, please?
no, it's just inform
Warren,
the office and Dante will take care of it.
Thank you,
I,
Warren.
excuse me, and then you can go ahead, Mia.
Sure.
I'm going to move on because I don't know why everybody's acting like they never heard this thing. We went on for about a whole hour prior. And that's why I kept having it on the agenda, because we went over it in detail. You could actually get the form or whatever they had from the office, the district office, and then we can look at it again. Mia, you want to say something? Because I'm going to move on.
Just very quickly, Suki, if you want to reach out to the office tomorrow, we can definitely discuss. But I just to clarify, if the Block Association had finalized their application, I doubt that they would be trying to move forward with LPC if they had satisfied all the requirements for DCP. LPC would need
Well,
to be on
let's
the
find,
table.
I mean, let's just find out if they didn't satisfy the
No,
requirements,
I
why
would
they
recommend that
didn't.
you contact the office
Listen,
tomorrow so that
yeah,
we can discuss further.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I want to keep this meeting in order, and I don't want to kind of just keep going on the same subject that we've already talked about. Suki, you could do a follow-up with the office and then
Absolutely.
discuss it later on. Let's move on to, I don't know what's happening at 50, was it 54? At least I think that was you, right? On the old business. 54 Crown Street.
Yes. I somebody's ringing my bell. So if you can
Wanna
move
run and
on-
answer?
Yeah, if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
Okay,
about
we'll come back to you.
that. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So now we're under new business. What I would like to do is, for all of the committee members, I would like to just to take 1 minute and just say something to everybody here in terms of yourself. We'll start, matter of fact, we'll start with the assistant district manager, Mia.
You said one thing?
Just
I'm
say,
sorry, I'm checking my
take
email.
about a minute to say who you are. and-
Sure. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Mia Hilton. I am the Assistant District Manager here at Community Board 9. I've been with the board since 2017. I'm a member, a longtime resident of the community. This is one of my favorite committees. Of course, this is one of the more active committees, but just because of the nature of our district right now and the amount of development that we're seeing. I'm interested to hear what the community has to say, what they've been seeing over the summer, because we've definitely been, a few things have been placed on our radar. As you know, developers have been doing what developers do. So yeah, I'm glad to be here this evening. Ready to hear from the community and ready for the committee to move forward for the meeting session.
Thank you. And I'm Pat Moses. I'm the chair of the ULURP committee. I've been on the board, oh my goodness, I think 6 years. I'm not sure, it's been a while, 6 years. And I think I've chaired, this is my third time chairing of the ULURP committee. And hopefully we'll work together with the members and of course, the people in the community, which is very important to us. Warren?
Hey, I'm Warren Burke. I'm the first vice chair of Community Board 9, and I'm a proud member of the ULURP committee. I've been working with Pat for the last 3 times she's been chair. And, ULURP is a hot spot, and I think that throughout the years, we have really faced the issues that are confronting the community and given our input. We've won some, we've lost some, and I look forward to the future working with all of you. Thank you.
Suki?
Hi, I'm Suki. I'm a resident of CB9. I've been a board member and a member of the ULURP committee for the past 2 years. Prior to that, I was a resident member of the ULURP committee for, I think, 3 or 4 years. So there's always something happening in the community, and we're here to help people with what their concerns are.
Okay. Rashida's not here, right? Okay, so we can mark, mark Rashida absent for now. Tom Thomas is having a problem getting on, so we'll excuse him. Nicola.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
I'm Nicola Cox, and I am a community member of ULURP. I have been on the committee probably since 2016, 2017. Live over on Sullivan, president of Sullivan Ludlam Stoddard Neighborhood Association, and member of FLAC. Work closely with MTOP and other community organizations to continue to educate the community on the land use process and continue to fight against out of context rezonings in the area. And look forward to another adventurous year.
Great. Esteban. Is it Esteban or Esteban? I don't know which one it is.
Esteban.
Esteban. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my name is Esteban Jaron. I am a 6-year member of the ULURP committee as a resident member, not on the board, by choice, not on the board. I just do this. Yeah, I've been a member of the Crown Heights Tenant Union for 8 years and got involved in the housing struggle there and found myself in need of knowing what was going on in the community because we kept seeing rents go up and people getting harassed right around the areas where development was happening. And so I came onto the committee to figure out what was going on with that. And here we are 6 years later, still fighting. So yeah, I'm especially interested in, if there's tenants that come through here that not only need assistance with, challenging their landlords, but also just want to get involved and want to work with the community board and I think we've done some really great things together on tenant issues and also just on preventing some of these really bad projects from happening. I think we've done a really great job in the past few years, but we have to keep working. So that's what we're here for. So thanks.
Okay, thank you. So I think we have another excuse absent, and that's John.
Got it.
Okay. We do have some people from the community here. You could say like a word or two. And I think we have Teresa.
Hi, I'm Teresa Westerdahl. I live on Sullivan Place, and I've just got an interest with the development that's happening in our community and the developers adhering to safety standards I feel that's not happening, and it's very concerning for me. So I just want to work on that.
Okay, great. Anderson. Okay. Jay, would you like to say something?
Remember, you're on mute.
You have to unmute yourself. Okay, Jay, going once, going twice, gone. And then there's someone that's on their phone. And what are they, number 718-756-6990? I don't know who that person is. Would you like to speak? Okay. We can move on. Committee members.
Hello?
Hello.
I'm sorry. Yes, hi. This is 756. I am Diane Shepherd. How are you tonight?
How are
is
you?
everyone? Wonderful. Thank you. And congratulations once again. So I am a community resident, 30 years in the community. And of course, I am currently on the housing committee. However, I have seen so many changes in the community and certainly believe that the ULURP committee have valuable information that I have been able to get from being in the meeting. I've been able to get very valuable information in regards to how all of this stuff ties in together and how it all works together. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to obtain information, and if I can impart any, certainly I would do so. So thank you very much for allowing me to be on this call.
Of course. Definitely want to know what's going on.
Definitely.
Now, good. Now, committee members, for maybe the next 2 or 3 minutes, would you like to bring anything forward that I'm not aware of?
Not I.
Okay, great. What about you, Esteban?
Not that I know of, nothing.
Oh, let's
nothing
keep it like that. How about you, Suki?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Wow, that's
I
great.
do think though, Pat, that we had a lot of people coming to the meetings over the last year or two, including Diane Shepherd, raising issues on their block. There's a development happening on my block. What's going on? Why is it so big? It's causing problems, whatever. I know that Jay has been here with concerns from his community about developments that are happening. So, other than just responding to things one by one, are we going to start having, and I know you've said this yourself, are we going to start having some discussions about what do we do about this?
Well, as they come forward, we will try to address them, but we're not going to just have open discussions. I mean, that's really not that necessary.
So for example, since Diana's here tonight, she has.
Okay, whoa. I like
right?
just to speak for themselves. If they have an issue, they can bring it up.
Well, she's told us several times already what the issue is, but the question is, what are we going to do to help her and her block?
I'm not.
Ms. Moses, I think if I'm remembering properly, is it Carol or President that Bedford Franklin? Because I know that.
I'm sorry, this is Diane. Yes, it's
Yes.
President Street, and
between
Bedford and Franklin, where they're, in fact, they've actually started back. I've submitted a challenge to the Department of Buildings, and to no avail. No one has ever said anything about the challenge. No one has ever responded to the challenge. And meanwhile, there was a stop work order for a while, for maybe about 2 months. And now I'm seeing that they're back building again. And there are community residents that want to know how is an 8-story building being put on the block. And I believe that there's supposed to be valet parking on a one-way street. So I really don't know how to address anyone in my community when they ask questions, because the Department of Buildings have not even responded to my challenge. And my challenge was last year, and it was submitted timely. But I don't know if it was because of COVID and, all of the people who probably were not in the office, if something just got caught up in the computer virtually, I don't know. But what I do see is I see activity across the street from my home. with no explanation to no one on the block. So that's what I will leave tonight. Thank you, Suki. I appreciate that.
But Diane, I don't really remember everything in terms of what was happening on your block. I can't really remember.
An 8-story apartment building where it
Right.
was at one time it was a lot. It was a parking lot, and the people in the community used the lot. And then somehow, some way, I think that the people who owned the lot sold it to developers, and the developers decided that they're going to go up 8 stories. Now on my block, there is nothing. There's the highest building is 4 stories. So we were wondering about the zoning, all right, because the zoning, I believe it's a R6 zoning. We've had homes, 2-story homes that have been sold. Developers come in and they take the 2 stories and make it into 4 stories with a penthouse up on the top. But they were told that they can only go up 55 feet, but across the street, it seems as though they're going 80 feet. So I'm not sure how this is working in terms of, special zoning that someone is getting and no one seems to know about it. I am baffled, I'll tell you that. And so are a lot of other members, residents in the community on President Street.
Can I just ask a question? Are you sure it's an R6A on both sides of the block?
I'm not. That was one of the questions that I had asked and brought to the attention of the ULURP committee. I think it was some information that I was going to get, but I haven't gotten the information yet. So perhaps maybe we're now starting back up again, and maybe now we can move forward.
Okay, so
with
Diane,
that
I
information.
Oh, hold
Can I
on,
just say
I didn't call on you. Whoa, hold
Can I
on.
just say one more thing?
Yeah,
One
let
of
me
the
get
things
this
that you
meeting
can
though.
do- One of the things that you can do, Diane, is that you can take the address and you can find the block and the lot to that address. And then you can go on to the Department of City Planning's website.
You
and
know
you'll
what?
find out
You're right.
exactly what the zoning is.
And I think you're absolutely right. And I think I was given that information. And I went on the site, and it was overwhelming for me. I really didn't understand a whole lot of things on that site. But it seems as though I remember seeing R6. I didn't see anything else. If there's a special zoning, or if the developers submitted, their application for one, I don't know.
So why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Because I'm just a resident in the community. I'm not a part of the ULURP committee. Why don't you take my number and then call me?
Okay.
What you and I can do is I can work on my computer, you can work on your computer, because I am familiar with DCP's website. And then I can kind of at least get you some information about what zoning it is and what they're allowed to do, et cetera, because I'm pretty good at that. So you have a pen?
Excellent. I certainly do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My number is 718.
Okay.
703.
703.
3086. And it's a landline, so no text, please.
Okay. Landline.
Just
Okay, that's 718-703-3086. Who am I speaking with?
Alicia.
Alicia.
Alicia, hi. Okay,
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm assuming that people could see who I am.
Right.
Oh, you know what? I'm on my phone. I'm not on my computer.
Yes.
So I can't see anyone. But
don't
thank
worry,
you so much.
Just give me a call and then I'll work with you, okay?
Right, so
All right,
Diane,
thank you.
Diane,
Yes.
I do remember now, and I do remember you getting in touch with the district office. So
Yeah, I
basically,
did.
you're saying that although you have the information, you really don't understand it. Is that what you're saying to me?
Pretty much, yes, because I was given a site to go to. I think it was a city site for zoning, but it was so much. I mean, since that time, I have requested some pamphlets and booklets, and I have one, what is affordable housing, what is zoning, and what is ULURP. I was able to get some information, actually in a book form. And I'm in the process of reading what is ULURP, and then after that, it will be what is affordable housing. So, yeah, I was given some information, but it's a lot of it. So, Alicia, thank you. And yes, I will be calling you to gain some wisdom, some knowledge, some clarity, okay, on how this works. And also, what happened to the challenge, with the Department of Buildings. I mean, I thought that they said that you can challenge these things, and when you challenge them, you will get some sort of a response, but I didn't get a response. I don't even see my challenge when I go into the Department of Buildings website. I don't even see anywhere where there was a challenge submitted. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. I appreciate it.
Esteban, you want to respond to that particular?
Yeah, I was just gonna see if we have the address so that I can follow up with
Right.
DOB and see what's
Yeah,
going on,
last
because I think it's likely that I mean, DOB is just like, you can just expect that they're gonna do shenanigans. So like, it's really good to do some sort of a follow up and just remind them that that things have been submitted. But also, I wanted to see if it was possible to maybe meet outside of there at some point in the next week or two, so that I can get an idea of what's going on over there. It's on the next block over from me. So
Can
right, you
I
did say that.
actually just
1043
I just want to
President
respond.
Street.
Could I actually say that we actually did research this issue at the time? Diane, like the month after you first came to the meeting, I did look into the issue. And what's going on is, yes, you're correct. It's an R6 zoning. And normally they would not be able to build as high as 8 stories, but they're using a special program called ZQA, or Zoning for Quality and Affordability, that was passed in 2015 by the last mayor. It gives basically any lot, the right to increase their density by up to, I think, 50% in some cases, in exchange for affordable housing for seniors. Now, this program was
Hold on, Suki. We're not gonna take this into a whole
okay,
issue.
Pat, I'm explaining to her why
what
her
you're saying.
zoning challenge
I know,
failed.
but I'm chairing. What I'm saying to you right now is this: we do have other subjects and other matters.
Okay, but
to
can
move
I
on.
explain to her why her zoning
Well,
challenge failed?
No, but
Because
listen
it
what
is
I'm saying.
allowed.
Listen what I'm saying to you. She's going to get help off so she can understand what's going on, and then you're going to bring it back.
Right,
We're
that's
not
what
going to
I'm
have a
trying
long
to,
discussion on this tonight.
Pat, that's what I'm trying to do. We did explain why the zoning challenge failed and why it was not allowed. And that is in the minutes that we wrote for the month after she was there. If you go to the CB9 website, our minutes are posted there under the ULURP committee, and we did explain that. Now,
Okay, well, I didn't see that.
The fact that this program exists, it was actually discontinued last July of 2021, because of a fair housing challenge. But this developer snuck in right before July of 2021. Now, the ZQA program itself still exists. So that is something that the take up, whether or not we believe that this is something that should continue to exist. This is something that we talked about way back in 2015. Everyone voted against it. It passed anyway.
We're going to research this and then we're going to get back, but we're not going to have a long discussion this evening. Okay.
What was the address again? Just so that I know.
She says
I
something
think
about,
it's
in other words, we had the
1043.
discussion on this already. So
Sorry,
I'm
did
trying to
you-
get
did
brought
I
up
hear
to
that?
date.
Did I just hear that address again clearly? Sorry.
Oh, the address.
Mhm.
Diane, what's the
I believe
address?
it's 1043 President Street.
Okay, thank you.
I believe it's 1043. I think that's the address, yeah.
Okay. Alicia?
Oh,
You're
well,
gonna
thank
bring
you
us
for
up
the
to-
update, Suki, because that'll help me when Diane calls me, and then because I am familiar with the ZQA.
Right, and you could also go and look, I think you were not around, but it should be in our minutes. And also, if you go online, I think it was a long discussion around this issue.
What month for the minutes?
I mean, I think you came to us back in when was it? Like at the beginning, you came to us at the beginning of the year, right? So
Mhm.
the minutes should, and like either in the fall or early winter.
Mhm.
Anyhow, we're gonna address it and we'll see I'll put it on the agenda for next time. We can address it for a few minutes.
And
Alicia,
I'll help
right.
help Diane find some of that information on the website, on DCP's
Okay,
website. So
thank
she can
you.
get it.
Okay. Because if it's something where it's as of right, I don't think it's very much we can do about it. But we
We
gotta see.
probably can't stop it. We can only stop it from happening in the future. But I think, I mean, it's happened in at least 2 or 3 places, and I you know, I think we should address it.
Jay, you want to say something? Got your hand up, Jay.
And I think it was, I'm sorry, what address did I give you? I'm sorry.
You
Did I
gave
give you
us,
10?
You're at 1043?
I'm sorry, it's 1042. I think it's 1042 President Street.
1042. Okay.
okay. Can you bring us up to date, Alicia, on 54 Crown Street, please?
Yes, as you guys know, we had won in the lower court under Judge Bodie's decision, and that now is a part of case law. So we're pretty proud of the work that we've done. That means is that this particular case is being recorded and people are now looking at it as a model of how to successfully challenge a rezoning application, a private one. Right now, we are ready for the appeal hearing. All the appeals have been processed. We're now moving forward, all the papers. So we are going to be going to court on October the 3rd at 10 a.m. in the morning. We will hopefully have a flyer out, and we're just trying to get people to come out to that hearing date because this is going to be really important. We want the appellate court to understand that our community is important and that DCP has to follow the rules and regulations of both the state and the city. And so please mark that on your calendar. It is going to be at the 2nd Department, that's right downtown. And it's going to be at 10 o'clock a.m. on October the 3rd.
Okay, before I move on, can you just briefly, we have new people, they don't really know what 54
Oh, I'm
Crown
so
Street is
sorry.
about.
No, I'm so used to seeing so many people that
Right.
already know this whole struggle. What happened is that in 2017, a developer named Cornell Realty sat there and decided to put an application to rezone a major chunk of the Franklin Avenue corridor that had already had height limits. It's the only part of our community that actually has height limits that were put there to protect the Book and Botanic Gardens back in 1991. And so they put in an application to rezone a large chunk of that, about 3 blocks. And it passed. Our city council person said that she had negotiated all this affordable housing for us, and we wind up finding out that that was a complete lie, and she just fabricated that. That's our former city council person, Lori Cumbo, known to us as Lying Lori.
But we're not doing that one now.
Oh well, that's how she's known to us in the community.
Yeah, well, let's just stick to the issue. Let's stick to the issue.
And anyway, we challenged that rezoning application, and we spent about 2 years defending it. We're pro se litigants. We were not lawyers, so we didn't hire any lawyers. They had about 22 lawyers on that case, about 10 legal firms, and the largest legal firm in New York City, which is Court Counsel. And they lost, and we won. And so, of course, they're appealing to the 2nd Department. Basically, our judge was Judge Bodie. He was a Black judge who lives in Brooklyn. And he sided with us, basically saying that the Department of City Planning failed to take what we known as, quote unquote, a hard look at some environmental impacts that they were supposed to have looked at. They had kind of did a cheat kind of thing. They underestimated the amount of residential units that their development project could actually produce. And as a result, they refused to look at the water and sewage environmental impacts. The judge agreed with us and said that they should have looked at those impacts, and thus, based upon the fact that they did not, and all you need is one category that they did not and they should have, and he null and voided the project. So of course the developers are appealing, basically saying that we didn't have the right developer, that Cornell Realty really wasn't the developer, even though his name is on all the legal papers, that in fact there was another developer that was actually developing. And so we didn't have the correct party on the case. And as a result, the lawsuit should have been thrown out because we didn't have the proper party. But the judge didn't buy that one either, because all the legal papers have Cornell Realty on it and still do, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so now your court date is when?
October the 3rd.
October the
Please
3rd.
try to keep that in mind.
Can you send something into the district office so they could like
Yes.
post it?
It
And
would be nice.
remember-
Yeah, can you do that? Can you post that for us? The appeal court, you know, us going to the appellate court.
Sure.
So we're gonna.
It's on our
yeah,
agenda. So we need to know
Okay.
what's going on. So
Good.
that
Good.
way, because I remember last time they wouldn't let people come in. Remember that?
Yeah, but now the courts are fully open. I asked them today, it's fully open. It is open to the public, so you can come. It is it's October the 10th at 10 o'clock. I will only be speaking for 15 minutes and the other side will only be speaking for 15 minutes. So it's going to be a really short hearing. So please make sure that you come on time.
Okay, thank
October
you.
3rd, correct?
3rd or 10th?
October 3rd. What did I say? Did I
You
say
said the 10th. Which
Wait,
one
wait.
is it?
the third? I will not be here on the 10th. The 3rd. It's
Okay.
October the 3rd. It's October the 3rd. I think that's that Monday coming up. That Monday.
Okay, so then you'll give us an update. Now,
Yeah, we will. And I will send a flyer to you, Mia. Once I organize the flyer, I will send it. And really, we're trying to get as many people to come to that hearing as possible. And Michael Hollingsworth, is he here? Michael Hollingsworth is one of the litigants as well. I don't know if he wants to say anything, but he's also one of the pro se litigants on that case.
okay.
Michael, did you want to say anything?
No, I'm good. You covered.
Michael's good. You
Covered it
said
pretty
it
well.
enough for everybody. So anyhow, we're going to move on. And this is what I want to have people to kind of understand what we're doing. When we have old business, we try to bring it up and we talk about it for a few minutes and we move on. If it's solved, we take it off. When we have agenda items, we like to stick to those agenda items. I don't like to go north, south, east, and west. So if somebody brings up a new issue, which from the community, you have the right to do that, then we will definitely look into it, have a small discussion, and then kind of get into it and see what's really going on and get back with some pertinent information. And we want something where people have actually did their research into certain matters. Now, before I close out, because I am ready to close out. Does anybody else in the community have any concerns? If so, raise your hand. Jay, I call on you 15 times already, but I'll call on you again.
Sure. The concern that I had was whether the ULURP committee would have jurisdiction over the 900 apartments that are going to be built at Kingsborough West. I realize that it is a New York State project, and because it's New York State, it deals with the general plan. However, in the RFP, they refer to the deed as a right of reverter. And it says that once it's no longer, New York City gave it to New York State. I'm talking about the land by 681 Clarkson. So there's a question as to whether the community board and whether Kingsborough West, the 900 apartments and the 2 homeless shelters that they're going to rebuild, has to go through ULURP. The answer depends upon when it says in the deed in the RFP, they said there's a right of reverter, which means that in the RFP, which is around 80 pages, which I could send to you, and which I hope that the community board will post it so everyone could see it. The deed may require the project to go through ULURP, just like the project that we discussed last week on Rutland. 777 Rutland has to go through ULURP because there's a deed restriction in it. In other words, last week we discussed there was a church on Albany and Schenectady. It has a deed restriction. So it has to go through ULURP because of that deed restriction, saying that it's only, that it can't go to residential unless you change the deed. There's a huge project at 681 Clarkson. It specifically says that when the land is no longer used by the state for hospital uses, it reverts and goes back to the city. It's 2 sentences and around 90 pages. And my question is whether the right of reverter, where right now it's state land at 681 Clarkson, Kingsborough West, whether that right of reverter, which says that when it's no longer hospital uses, it goes back to the city, whether that right of the city says that it has to go through ULURP, where it is not simply a New York State land issue. In the RFP, it specifically says they have to do something about that and correct that. The RFP for Kingsborough West says that they have to extinguish the city's right. So what I simply ask is if you can either get a legal opinion from the 2 parties who would bring it, possibly New York State Attorney General, Letitia James can give an opinion on this, or Jimani Williams is a public advocate. He's got plenty of attorneys also. Somebody should give an opinion, number one. And number 2 is there has to be a copy of the deed that people could look at and they could read it, because the language may require that it goes through ULURP. And the reason it's so important is because in the southeast part of the district, there's a huge amount of apartments and construction, and there's some real parking concerns. And there's also the concern there's going to be around 6 facilities that are going to be catering to the homeless on Clarkson Avenue, Clarkson Boulevard. So my question to you is, can you do 2 things? Can you find out and have somebody come in to speak to the issue as whether the city's right of reverter means that it has to go through ULURP because it's not simply New York State land and they do whatever they want? I'd like a copy of the deed to be posted to the website. The deed, I can't get the deed. The deed is not available on Acris, okay? So you got to go in there and you got to do the research and go back and do it. And I would ask that somebody, that the community board either hire somebody or they do a FOIL request, because when I wanted information on the project, I asked last September, and for 12 months after a FOIL request, I'm getting nothing from New York State on Kingsborough West. So I think there's an obligation to really inform people and to start posting things for everybody to see where it is with SECRA and a copy of the deeds, which will answer the question in a second.
Okay. I don't know. I have to really look. Seems like this is about the 2nd or 3rd time this has come up because it has something to do with it being state property. Warren, did you address that last time? Warren, are you there?
I'm not sure if Warren is there, Mrs. Moses, but this
Okay.
is something that I'll discuss with Dante tomorrow.
Right.
And Mrs. Ford, we have your contact information.
No,
so we can-
I'm here. I'm here. What's up?
No, we just, so you're gonna look into it, Mia, because it seems like I heard this before and it had something to do with it being state property. And I know I don't think we could. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think.
But I don't think this language, I don't think Jay's question about the language where it's now looking at the deed restriction and the fact that does this land now revert back to the city?
Okay.
And now that would put it in our jurisdiction. Before we were like, okay, hands off, it's state land. So
Right.
you know, we couldn't really get involved. Now, if there's a possibility that it reverts back to the city, and Jay was saying that I think they may be trying to stop that from happening, so we just need to look at it and say, is this now an opportunity? If there's a possibility for it to revert back to the city, that would give us some jurisdiction on having some feedback and input into the process.
Okay, that's what I remember from before. Right, so if it's
Right.
state, we have no jurisdiction. If it's city, we can get involved.
And so the question is, can we get Tish James, our attorney general, or our public advocate to have someone look at the deed restriction, look at the legal language, and see if the way Jay's interpreting it is correct, and if there's a possibility for it to revert back to the city. How do we make that happen? And how do we make sure that we're prepared as a ULURP process to take that on and not allow the city and the state to silence us, which it could possibly happen it could be a handshake behind the scenes that we're not aware of. So we just need to understand what the process is and make sure that if it reverts back to the city, that a ULURP process is initiated.
So, Mia, you can see if it's state or city. That's what we really need to know, because if it's still state forever, then, you know, not much.
Most definitely. Mrs. Sword, I'm going to ask you after the meeting, perhaps between this evening and tomorrow, for you to just shoot over an email to the district office with the bullet points of all the information that you would like in your words, so that we can push it forward to general counsel and get some information for you, and as well update the committee.
And can I add one more thing?
Sure.
It's not just asking Letitia James for her opinion, which is great if her office gives that. The New York State Attorney General has to sign off on this. That means that if she's signing off on this, Community Board 9 could put her on notice that there's an issue. So that's significant. The second thing why it's important, if it has to do with the city, is because Jemani Williams has this special environmental law that came about that says that if you do a significant project, and if it affects a community of color, that you have to do a lot more environmental stuff. That kicked in on June 1st. My point about it reverting, I got that from the RFP. So it's not sort of an interpretation. It's the RFP says it reverts, the city has a right. It's either a right of reverter or it reverts back, and either case, the city has to decide on it. It's so I'll send that over.
Okay, Jay, we're gonna move on.
Okay.
A follow-up will be done, and Mia, you can let me know too, whatever information you get prior to. So we got to move on. Anyone else?
Yes, I wanted to do new business.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not sure how many people are aware, but there was a commission that has been formulated to talk about some major changes to the ULURP process and the rezoning applications. This commission was pushed by Eric Adams in his position that developers need to build more faster and quicker and less expensive than what they've built in the past. This commission, there were about 12 major points to this commission's ideas. Some of them quite disturbing, to be honest with you. One was that they were going to remove the community board from the ULURP process. And because they believe that because the borough president appoints community board members, that they don't have to really hear from community boards because the borough president can speak for us. One of the other ones was the fact that they would remove all environmental review at all. There will be no environmental review process. So there will be no project would have to go through an environmental review process. So we would never know the environmental consequences of a development project, nor will we be able to demand mitigation scenarios or even community benefits, because there will be no negative effects. But there's 12 of them that I went through, and I think that it would be important for the ULURP committee. I was hoping that the ULURP committee would, maybe form a subcommittee to look at these recommendations, because I do believe that they're going to start to do some revision of both state law as well as city law that will affect rezonings. I believe that they will be coming up with the city charter revision. They're going to be putting pressure on the state to change their legislation. And I think that we need to get ahead of this, because I can tell you, the other thing that they're trying to do is stop all litigation from happening. So that means is like where we have challenged a rezoning because they did not do a proper environmental review, well, they want to do away with legal challenges. They also want to, the commission that was created.
It's not a commission. It's a, who is it, Alicia?
Okay, it's the
Citizens Budget Commission.
The New York City Economic Development and Housing Committee. Then
is that a government agency or a private agency?
Can I finish, please?
No, I just want to know who you're talking about.
Hired the nonprofit, the Budget Commission, CBC, which is a nonprofit organization. They convened with a group of very pro-development people, and they came up with these suggestions about the necessary changes that they were going to do in both the city, the state laws, and administrative reviews. So these are their recommendations. It's in a study, it's written, it's already been produced, and it has been published. So then they have already been talking about these major changes. And so they want to do some drastic changes that would basically, they also want to change the city charter. They want to see city council deference. As you know, that when you do these individual projects, you have to get the local city council person to approve. Otherwise, the project does not move forward. Well, they want to change that. They want to have a little subgroup that will overturn the city council's decisions. And so this subgroup will be able to overturn the city council. If the city council says no to a project, then the mayor, the public advocate, the borough president, and the speaker of the city council will be able to overturn the city council. So they're talking about some major ramifications to the laws and the way in which rezonings happen, to the point where you won't even probably even have a ULURP process, because you won't have anything to review, because everything will be as of right. They also want to make everything as of right unless it's in a brownfield or a wetland. So everything else would be as of right. So you're talking about some major shifts and changes in the law. This is not minor stuff. This is some major stuff. And I would hope that the ULURP committee, especially because we have such knowledgeable people on this committee, would look at these 12 points and come up with, the community board's position, the ULURP committee's position about this commission's report, which they're now starting to publicize and push to get developers to have their applications move faster and actually be as of right.
Okay, I think, and thank you.
Excuse me,
I
Pat.
think, yeah.
It's Warren. I'd like to add to that. I just want to say, Alicia, we're totally aware of this. And not only we are aware of this, but there's a coalition of a lot of community boards. The obvious part is this is a private organization, a 501c. I don't think it's moved to the level that you're saying, but everybody certainly disagrees with it. And I know that we've spoken to Esteban, we've had our ULURP chair, etc., and we are up to speed and we are working on this. So we appreciate the heads up.
Okay, so
Well, I would like to just say, this is not just the nonprofit. As I stated before, it's the New York City Economic Development and Housing Committee, which is a government entity. They are the overseer of the commission. So it's not a nonprofit organization that just kind of came up with their own ideas and they're presenting it. No, this is a government entity that's presenting this. They've already presented these findings to the state. They've already presented to the Department of City Planning. They've already presented to quite a number of government entities and have gotten approval, initial approval of the types of changes they're anticipating on getting. So what I'm asking is, I'm not asking for people to talk about it behind closed doors. I'm asking for the committee to look at it, to review it, to discuss it in possibly even a subcommittee, and then come up with their position on these things.
Okay, thank you, Alicia.
Yeah.
As I said to you, that we're all looking at it and we will take
Well,
the actions.
how is that looking happen?
Excuse me,
There's a
Alicia.
committee-
Wait a minute, y'all out of line now, y'all out of line.
Alicia, we agree with you. We're taking a look at it.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
would like to know, as a community resident, I have the right to know if you are engaging in looking at something and when.
No,
it's
Alicia,
happening.
right now, what we're doing is studying it. If you want to give me a call, I'll go into more detail. Thank you.
No, this is a public space. I would like it publicly.
Okay, whoa, wait, okay, okay,
Alicia,
wait a
we
minute.
don't have
Hold on,
anything yet.
y'all,
We're
hold
looking
on.
at it,
Y'all out
okay?
of order.
But who's we? Because I don't remember us talking about it at a ULURP meeting.
Excuse me. Hold on, committee. Let me just say something. I don't have a problem at all with people speaking, but speak in terms. To go back and forth, it's just not good for me. And let me just say something. Alicia, I think you talk about the Citizens Budget Commission report. That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
I think that, right. So I'm asking everybody to kind of take a look at that. I think it was an article that was written. And if everybody could take like a look at that, that would be good. And yes, we will look into it. We're going to do Suki, Teresa, and then Esteban, and then we're going to close out. And please don't take a long time.
I just wanted to respond to Jay. I'm sure Mia will be able to get you a copy of the deed. Someone has it, but if not, I can help you to get it. I'm sure it's a pre-Acris deed, so there is a way to find those very old deeds. Think you know how to contact me. Actually, I guess I should tell everybody my email address. It's sukicheong@gmail.com. If anybody has any questions, Diane, anybody else, please feel free to contact me. I'm happy to help with research or whatever else. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, Teresa, a couple of minutes because we got to move on. We got to close out.
Hi, I wanted to bring up the site on Bedford, Sullivan, Empire, the old Firestone site. That building was demolished without any sort of asbestos or lead testing. It's right next to one of the largest housing complexes in our district, Ebbets Field. And that is being done, it seems, on the regular, and the EPA was not involved. There was no testing done. And all that went into the air of our community. And with what Jay was talking about earlier in relation to Jumani Williams and sites being overseen, that didn't happen with that site. And that doesn't seem to be happening. And what can we do about it?
Teresa, I remember us having a discussion on it because we brought it up. And I referred it to the environmental protection to look into it. And they were at the point looking into it.
Well, I'm on the environmental protection committee.
I referred it, yes.
Well, they told me, Fred and Dante were at our meeting. I can't remember exactly who, but we were told to bring it to this committee instead. So I'm sorry to bounce back and forth like a ping pong ball.
No, because we brought it up here. And
no, we brought it up as well.
We brought it up because they were able to build as of right. We had a long discussion on it, but there was some environmental issues that we brought up, and we referred them to the Environmental Protection Committee, who was supposed to, at that point, look into it.
No,
And at one point,
well,
they said they had a stop order, and then they didn't have it, and I don't know. But anyway, that's where it should be right now.
Ms.
Well-
Moses, can I just interject really quickly?
Yes.
Ms. Westerdahl, if you have any outstanding issues in connection with Firestone, shoot me over an email with all the questions that you need answered, and I can help you follow up.
it's not just with that
Or
site.
any
you
of
know,
the
it's-
concerns, or if there's any additional sites that you've seen around the district, or anything I can help with in connection with the environmental aspect, you can shoot it over to the office. You don't have to wait to come to the meeting to do so. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to the district office.
Okay, so I can call you tomorrow? All right.
Okay, anyone else before I close up? Let me just say, when I know we definitely, because we had a long discussion around that. And we moved it on to that committee. So that committee really needs to look into it and see what.
That committee, like I said, I'm on that committee, and we looked into it on the same night that you did, and it was like kind of like, what, like, well, you got to talk to this other committee, which is the committee I'm talking to now, the ULURP committee.
No.
I know you're saying no, but I
No.
think we do need to. The ULURP committee does need to think about what's happening with the developers not demolishing buildings and not taking care of the asbestos on these sites. It's a huge danger. It's like 9/11. You know, that's what happened down there. All those
Teresa, I'm saying we brought it up. We had a long discussion around it. We referred it where it needed to be. We brought it up as an issue and referred it to the environment. All I'm saying is that the environmental committee needs to look into it and see what's going on.
They already
last time. Well, they need to start doing it.
They did.
Well, continue.
They did.
It's not a ULURP issue at this point. It belongs there. Esteban?
Yeah, a couple of things just on the issue of the potential for bringing the state application into ULURP. I do think that that's a really important thing. It's the only chance that we're going to have to say anything about it. So whether you're in favor or not in favor or anything like that of that application, I think any opportunity that we can bring a state project into our field of vision, I think is really important because we don't get a whole lot of say in those projects. So just supporting that. And then also, Mia, I sent a couple of links to your email. One is a link to the report from the Citizens Budget Commission. The other one is a registration for a Zoom webinar that's on September 28th. If this gives you an idea of how far along this is, the people on this panel are not just the president of the Citizens Budget Commission, but the Deputy Mayor for Economic and Workforce Development, Maria Torres Springer, Vicky Bean, who used to be that, Margaret Chin, Dan Gorodnik, who's the chair of the City Planning Commission, and Ruth Ann Visnakas, who's the head of the DHCR, the statewide housing agency. So these are the people that are on the panel supporting this thing. So I agree. I don't know what the other community boards are doing in terms of studying the issue, but I do think that we need to have, just like we did for MIH and all of that we had like a very clear position from the community board as to what we were gonna say when these things came up. It's bad. Like the reports are real bad. Like it basically says like there's no point in having citizen or community interaction, and that we're just basically making it harder for the developers to make money, and that's bad. I mean, it's like it's ridiculous. But we I got a couple of texts about it from other ULURP members. So I just think it's important that we stay on top of it because we're gonna have to answer to it soon, and may not even have a say in the future. So, but really encourage people to go to this webinar and figure out exactly what's going on and what they're thinking, and in particular what their timeline is. Because I have no idea, but it sounds like they're trying to do this fast.
Now, it's on the website. Could you tell them? It is on the website. So could you tell the rest of the committee so that they can read up on it? I mean, we
Yeah,
have the information, but.
I'll forward the links.
Yeah, if you
Right,
could forward the links, that would be great. And
yes,
that way,
because
you know,
everybody kind of really needs to look at that and kind of
Yeah.
see what we're talking about here, because it was pretty serious when I read it, you know?
keep in mind that
It
we're
is
about to
something
do
we need to
another,
look into.
we're about to have another election for city council. And so there's a timing thing that's happening here that they want to pass as much as they can with the current council before those people have to face a primary challenge this coming year, because there's only 2 years in between city council elections this time because of redistricting. So there's a timing thing here where they want to get this out really, really fast so that the city council members don't have to answer for it at the time that would make it most difficult for them to get reelected. So keep all that in mind.
And that's why I'm asking everybody to really kind of read the article. And I do believe that we do need to stay on top of it, because as you're saying, we're really not going to have any voice at all.
I would hope that you guys would actually create a working committee that would actually sit there and do something outside of just everybody looking at it. That people.
Well, let's read the material first, and then we can talk about that at the next meeting.
Okay, so if you could put that on the agenda, I would appreciate it.
Definitely, it's going to be on the agenda.
A working committee to go through this, because as Esteban is saying, they are moving this very quickly. They're trying to get these changes done very, very quickly. And this is their agenda. Eric Adams might not make it past the 4th year, and they're trying to make it happen. And it's scary. It's really scary.
If folks will get caught up on all of that, then I'll make a motion at the next meeting to, and I'm happy to head up a working group that will take care of this. So if people come prepared to the next meeting to talk about it and discuss it, then I'm happy to do that.
Right, and I think we need to, because listen, we can sub it before we move it on. I mean, we need to do our homework, sub it before we move it on to the, I'm just making a suggestion before we move it on to the board, the big board.
Esteban, are you sending out the link for the panel?
Me, I think was gonna do that. Is that right?
Yes, Esteban, I'm going to send it out. I'm going to forward it to the committee.
All right, great. Thank you.
Now, yes. Now, I just want to say this before I close out. I don't have any problem, again, with this is how I run a meeting. I like people to raise their hands. You can have a discussion on whatever it is we're talking about, have a view, but you have to also take into consideration that there's other people. So you can't just go on and on and on and on and on. And that's why when some people say, I'll give you my number later on or whatever, or we're going to contact the community officer. When you bring it forward, we bring in, little small clips forward, but we're definitely going to try to work on some issues. And so you brought up some good stuff. So we're going to have something now to really work on, so we can have people that's going to, Alicia, you're going to get as much material as you can that you said for 2 people, right?
Yeah, well, I've already done a summary of the commissioner's 12 points, and that could be found. Nicola will be able to send around that link, and it could be found on our website. So, it's a summary of the 12 points, and it gives their position and then our position regarding that. So we've already done a lot of due diligence. We're going to be also looking at some statistical analyses and kind of pushing back against the assumptions that were made in the commissioner's report to prove some of the alleged facts about why they're pushing these rezonings. So we've done a lot already.
And I also, Alicia, because you said you were going to work with Diane. And
yes, and I will definitely work with Diane.
When you work with, right, so when you work with Diane, I also want you to keep our district Mia updated as to what, once you condense it, so that I'll have the material so I can have it, at least read something before I come on, and for our next meeting.
Yes.
Again, I want to thank everyone. Anybody else?
Nicola had her hand up.
Nicola, is it from now? Nicola, you want to speak?
Yeah, just quickly. I just had a concern because Alicia brought up the point about this commission and the report. Warren said, oh yeah, we know about it and we're working on it. I wasn't aware about this until Alicia brought it to my attention recently. So I'm on the land use committee, been on the committee for years. I'm not sure when it had been discussed, when information had been shared. Is it just something that was shared amongst board members? I'm just trying to figure out, am I in the loop, not in the loop? When did all this collaboration happen?
Well, it was a news article, and that we all, I was gonna say we all, I know I read it, but you will definitely be in the loop. So now that we're here and we have our first meeting, we're gonna keep each other in the loop. So again, I need some more material because it was kind of like a small article that I read. I know that, you know, a vote has to take place, so I'm not sure exactly how this is going to go forward. I hope that it doesn't go forward. So
Yeah.
anyhow,
So my concern is that it wasn't brought up. I understand, okay, things might have happened, but then if Alicia didn't mention it today, it was not on the agenda. Warren didn't bring it up. It would not have been a point of discussion today.
And that's why.
So that's a concern for me.
Right. And that's why because sometimes we don't catch everything. And that's why when I do the agenda, I try to put like old business and I try to put new business because some people know other things that we don't know. So if everybody brings it up on the new business, then we all know about it. So that's what I would like to see happen. So it will be discussed on the old business. And we're going to close out. Does anybody else in the community want to say something for 1 minute?
Yeah, it's Julia Bryant. I just have.
Hi, Ms. Bryant. How are you?
Hi, it's good to see you. I hope you had a lovely summer. I just want to piggyback on Nicola's question because I don't think that I got an answer that's satisfying to me. Is there or is there not a committee or a discussion group or something going on that other community boards are discussing this issue, and then Nicola doesn't know anything about it? So basically, I want to know, is there or is there not some back, because, we still have open meeting laws. I know that people don't want to think that we do, but we still have open meeting laws that say that you can't be having, side meetings about something or joining into something without everybody in this particular committee knowing about it. So, but Warren doesn't seem to still be here. So I guess we're just not going to get an answer.
Well, listen, I haven't held any meetings and I haven't had any discussions around anything at this point. There was an article that I did read. I think I read it, and maybe a couple. I don't know if all the board members read it. It was an article. So it was an article.
I've read the article, Pat. I've read the article. You're not answering my question. The question, but I understand what your answer is. Your answer, because you're answering for yourself, and I'm
answering for this committee because I haven't held a meeting. So how could it be discussed?
Okay, well then that's the answer. Thank you.
I haven't. This is my first meeting.
Okay, thank you.
So like I said, there's no private discussion or anything that I know of. If it was, I wasn't invited. So
okay,
we're going to end here.
Mia, I'm gonna hopefully Nicola could send you that link, and then maybe you can share it with the board members, the summary that we created.
Well, true,
that would be really helpful.
But also I believe that link really should be me. I don't know if y'all could do. You know how y'all send out information and people can community people really need to zoom into it rather than us just talking about it. If you put it on that, you know how we do meetings and we can, and that way people will have discussion. Maybe somebody knows something we don't know. That's just a suggestion. I'm not saying that it has to be done.
And the only reason why I'm saying this, guys, is because those changes are serious. I don't know how to explain this.
They are.
But they strip us of every opportunity and every right that we have to challenge anything.
Well, let me just say something, and we're going to discuss it at length. And again, it's not just us that will be stripped. It's my understanding that the borough office would be stripped too.
Well, the city council will be stripped.
Was it
City
the city council or,
City coun- Not the borough president. The borough president is advisory, so they're saying that he should remain advisory. So his role will stay the same. It's the city council that will be stripped of their power to be able to say no to a development project.
okay. So that's something we definitely, if anybody else has any information, if you can send
Hello?
it to the district office, we could all, we could all get it and read it prior to the meeting.
Hello, can you
So
hear
it's
me?
8:26 now.
Oh, somebody's.
I'm
Hello?
sorry, Ms. Moses, someone keeps attempting to say hello from a
Oh,
917
I'm
number.
sorry. Hello?
Yes,
Hi,
Who am I speaking
Hi.
with?
Ms. Granum.
Miss who?
Granum. I'm calling, I'm a resident of the community. I'm not on this board, but I am appreciative of the fact that the information regarding the Citizens Budget Commission was just brought to our attention. I did a quick search in just that short a time. I found two very crucial articles. One is located at The Real Deal, and the title of that article is Rezoning for More Housing Costs Developers a Fortune. Again, that's at therealdeal.com. And the other thing that I just found, I did it really quick because I'm like totally in the dark about this. The other thing I just found was a 49-page report about a meeting that took place September 2022. So just to kind of give everyone here a little bit of heads up on how they can find out the information. The question that I have is, are other ULURP boards or other boards with ULURP committees, are they all in sync or in contact with each other? Is there like a ULURP board, I don't know, forum?
I don't know.
Because there seems to be a commonality that, in numbers, there is strength. So if there are 30 something, how many community boards? 50? I don't know.
59.
I'm sorry. 59 community boards. So what percentage of the community boards even know about this? And is there any interaction between CB9's committee board, ULURP committee board, and other committee boards? That's really my question, along with giving a little bit of information that I just got.
Well, thank you, because I will be reading it this evening.
Okay.
Mia, Dante still goes to those meetings they have, right? Where they have all the district
the
managers.
district service cabinet meetings, yes.
Right.
I will ask them to see if that has been discussed, but as you know, we've been on hiatus and most of the boards have. So I'm not sure what other ULURP committees have met. I know you guys are just meeting and, so I'll check in with Dante. Ms. Granum, I do have your contact information. And once I speak with Dante tomorrow, I'll reach out to you and let you know.
I doubt the release of that report is not timed the way they want to time it. So they probably expected that there wouldn't be people yet back in session when they put that out. But also keep in mind this, when the legislation came out for the community or sort of the citywide planning process that Corey Johnson put out, like the community boards were ultimately able to mobilize pretty quickly to oppose that. And so, but it requires a really quick, very focused response. So like I said, we stay on top of it, but I think we can beat it down. I don't think that there's any way that, like, based on what we've heard in the past, that community boards are going to be in favor of this, but they've got to show up and they've got to we've got to mobilize for it, pretty significantly and quickly. So keep that in mind.
Well, what I know from the grassroots organizations, a lot of people, this is not on their radar. I know that the reporting that was done was basically not really showing you the seriousness. They kind of just did not take the meat of these recommendations and really explain what they were. They kind of downplayed and didn't even mention some of the more egregious recommendations. So I think it's going to be, more of us reaching out to each other and saying, hey, Are you aware of this? And have you seen this? And what is your community board doing? And that would probably, hopefully, fall on somebody within that subgroup that's going to be looking at these things and also doing some actions, like reaching out to other community boards to see if they are aware of it, because maybe some are not.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, everybody, I'm gonna have to end at this point. And I'm gonna thank all of you all. And again, any information that you have, if you would send it in to Mia so that we can all read it. And Mia, you said you would put that link out and hopefully.
Yes, I already sent the email to the committee.
That way the rest of the community can read it. You know,
Yeah,
I
I'll
think
have
that's
it
helpful.
posted on the website as well.
Right, and then when we come back, at the next meeting will be held on October something. October what? I have my calendar. What, somebody got a calendar?
I believe it's the 11th. It's the
October
day
11th.
after.
Yeah, it's 11th.
Okay, so October 11th, everybody has a little homework now. So October 11th, we're gonna try to see as much information as we can get. And then, and the other two issues, I will put them on the agenda. Okay? So thank you all.
Okay. Thank
Good
you so
night.
much. It's
Good
nice
night. Thank
seeing
you.
guys. It's nice seeing a
thank
lot
you.
of you.
Nice seeing all of you. Yeah.
Right, so Mia, will y'all let us know if we're gonna, I don't know if I'm meeting in person or I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes, once we receive the
Oh.
official directive, and then when I'm going to send you a placeholder calendar
Okay.
invite. It's not going to say virtual, it's just going to say meeting, because we just don't know. So once we receive the directive, all the committees will be advised whether they will be reporting to Zoom or 890 Nostrand Avenue.
890 Nostrand Ave. Oh, okay. Hey, listen. So, I forgot
It's been
now.
a long time.
Fast.
It's been a while.
I forgot where we made that. You're
That's
right.
right.
Hey, so listen, if we meet in person,
Fair
that means we
enough.
gotta dust our clothes off now, you
That's
know.
right.
Correct.
You gotta
That's
come
right.
looking this way and that way.
That's right.
Anyway, y'all have a good night and
Okay.
I'll
Good.
try.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, thank you.
Alicia,
Good night,
send me
everyone.
some material
Thanks,
too.
Pat.
Okay, Alicia,
Good night, thank
you have
you.
my email. Send me some
Yes,
material.
I will. I've already done the work. I will send it to you. I promise, as soon as it gets put on my
Okay.
website, on our
Great.
website, I'm gonna send you the link, and it's a shorter version. You don't have
Yeah.
to read 46 pages.
That's right. Thank you. You know, I don't like to read
Right.
46 pages. So everybody, good night.
Good
Talk to
night,
y'all
everyone.
later.
I sent Mia the 12 points and I will be loading the other
Got it.
MTOP's
Okay, thanks, Nicola.
position
I
on
got
it
I got
shortly.
your email.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. That's
And
great.
that-
That's
and
good.
that's a summary. It's a nice summary, and so you don't have to.
Right, so when we meet, we'll make a determination whether we need to have a little subgroup before we bring it to the board.
Exactly.
Okay?
Gotcha.
Okay, y'all.
Okay,
Talk to
ladies.
y'all.
Have a good
All right,
night.
bye-bye.
Thank you.